Hello everybody, and welcome to another random rant by me, Freebiewitz, your host, and normally I rant about stuff that I don't like. And it's been pointed out to me a lot of my recent stuff has been very controversial, inviting people to be very argumentative in some cases, and I don't want this channel to be known for its negative views and behavior and such like that. I want to focus on the positives. So today, I'm ranting about something slightly different. I'm going to be ranting about one of my favorite subjects, and I am going to be more specific about it. I'm going to be ranting about Dungeons and Dragons. More specifically, about a one-shot game I ran for some very close friends of mine about a year ago, if not longer, something like that. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. And the idea behind this game was that it was a one-shot, and it was done for my friend's Bucks party, his marriage, essentially. Now, he's not the kind of guy who wants to go to strip clubs, gets drunk, you get the idea. So, instead, we spent the day playing board games, video games, going to the arcade, and then having a really nice dinner, and finishing the night off with a good old-fashioned Dungeons and Dragons adventure. Now, playing into the Bucks party theme, I made the entire premise of the game about a bunch of adventurers getting drunk, waking up the next day, and trying to figure out what the hell happened, where's the best man, where's the ring, oh god, the marriage is on tonight, what do we do? So, it's basically the Hangover in D&D form, and I very much enjoyed setting that up. So the way I did it was that I created 9 different characters. I basically had a character sheet for each character class. I had a Hill Dwarf Barbarian, a Dragonborn Fighter, High Elf Rogue, Half Elf Wizard, Human Druid, Wood Elf Monk, Human Ranger, Drow Sorcerer, Dwarf Paladin, Human Warlock, Human Cleric, and a Half Elf Bard. And these were all pre-made characters I made for everybody. I kept the fact that it was going to be a D&D game secret to the groom, so he had no idea we were going to play D&D. I hid everything in my Risk board game box. So when I pulled that Risk, I just told everybody, alright, now that dinner's done, we're going to play something a bit risky. Then I opened it up and it was all D&D stuff. It was fantastic. So everybody picked out a character sheet. My best friend and groom, he picked out the half-elf bard. One of my other friends picked out the warlock. Another one picked out the rogue. And the groom's brother, he picked out the paladin. And I'm mentioning the brother very specifically here because apparently this was his first time playing D&D. I had no idea because this guy LARPs. This guy roleplays. So I just automatically assumed this guy played D&D. And apparently, after I played D&D with him, I sent him into a tailspin of obsession, so I'm very proud of that. He is a dice goblin now, he plays D&D all the time, he has all the books, it's fantastic. Anyways, the game starts with all the characters waking up in the haze, not remembering anything from last night. And I mean every single character, including the non-played characters that I had from my selection. In character, I was just gonna say, oh, they're all even more unconscious, and you four are the only ones who gets up. And the idea is if the players were too low on clues, didn't know where to go next, I'd have one of the appropriate characters wake up very groggily, not in any shape to help, and just give information. So, for example, let's have a look-see. The Human Ranger, which they did not choose, would know about a dragon den, for example, or know about some goblins that are nearby, because he's been making a map of the area, he's tracking everything down, he sort of knows what's going on. So let me just read a brief description of the actual adventure. The night before the wedding, the party had the biggest party ever, but upon waking up, they found that the groom's suit and best man were both missing. But even worse, The 2 rings are also gone. You must now go on an epic adventure to fix the suit, find the best man, and the rings before the night of the wedding itself. So the main quest is find the rings, and it will turn out later on that a dragon named Chiara, in human form, had taken one of them. Now, the said dragon can be fought, which is a bad idea, because the player characters are only level 8, if I remember correctly. But here's the thing. The dragon can either be bargained with or stealth through. Now, the players didn't actually end up stealthing anything, so the dragon just bargained with them. And their only term and condition was to be invited to the actual wedding, because the dragon had never attended one ever. Let me read the exact description. The dragon will immediately give the rings over if they're invited to the wedding, but will try their best not to give any indication that this is the case of what they want. In brackets, insight check. Make it easier if they flatter the dragon. I didn't actually have any specific numbers there because I wanted to play it loose based on what the players said. If invited, they will demand that they get to be the ring bearer, but will give it up if denied as long as they still get to come. I believe the players did say, oh yeah, a dragon being the ring bearer, that's pretty cool. So they did go along with it if I remember correctly. So that was one of the rings. The second ring was in a vault owned by the best man, who, once again, is missing, who, while drunk, apparently changed the passwords, so now the party has to break in and steal the ring back. The receptionist is a bitter ex of the bards. If the bard is getting married, they will still wish them a good day, albeit in a frosty manner. This is basically a mini dungeon. A golem blocks the entrance and asks the following questions. Do you agree to answer all the following security questions truthfully? What is your name? Who is your best friend? Do you agree to receive news and special offers from Voltco? You get the idea. So, no actual combat needed to be done here. Now, all the other quests, find where the best man went. Basically, he has been captured by a group of goblins while drunk, is also still drunk when he's rescued, having been forced to drink the wine throughout the night and day for fun by the goblins. He needs to be sobered up. Now, assuming that the players haven't found the dragon yet, this is one of the points where the best man can mention that they remember seeing a dragon at some point, which would help them find her and the other ring. Now, the other quest, get the suit. So they find out the suit has been taken by the Thieves Guild, but it was damaged in the process, so they have to get it repaired and cleaned or replaced. So they can kind of skip this entire encounter completely by just buying a completely new suit on short notice. Said suit was magically damaged, so the repair spell only works for a moment before failing. The suit needs to be repaired by an artificer, and the damage came from a dragon claw, which once again is another clue that a dragon was involved in all this. Now, besides those 3 things, the ring, the best man, and the suit, other difficulties have arisen from all of this. So there was going to be a band that was going to play during the wedding's reception, and for some reason, they're quitting. And the players have to convince them to play again. Now, the reason why they're quitting is because they are superstitious and have reason to believe that bad luck will befall them if they play at the wedding, and they don't want to wish any ill on the married couple. Note, if the band has a bard, they can volunteer to play instead, which doesn't quite work here, since the groom is the bard here. I did not think that part through completely, but it is what it is. Now, they can be convinced to play if good luck charms are given to them all. Mark, the human singer, can be bribed to play with money. Kron, the orc drummer, will play if one other person does. And Evelate, the elf lute player, can be flattered into playing. Moving along, another issue is that the food supplier has had their stock of food waylaid and intercepted. The suppliers say that if the food hasn't been eaten, it should be good since they have all had preservation magic cast on them. Players can find the goblins that stole the food. Most of it's ruined though. These are the same goblins who kidnapped the best man, by the way. All the alcohol has been drunk or destroyed, the meat's all eaten or torn apart. However, the vegetables have been mostly left untouched, so things like mushroom soup, honey glazed carrots, and lettuce wraps. Players can find a replacement supplier / get it from the market, which they ended up doing. See, I have a reoccurring character named Stiv in a lot of my campaigns, and he sells meat sticks, as in meat skewers. So, fried bit of meat on a wooden stick. And every time the players ask him what's it made of, he always says, is meat stick. And he doesn't really elaborate, and he looks confused and keeps trying to explain it. So, the players went into his warehouse to get a big, giant bulk supply, and he says, oh, one of the meat sticks has escaped. And they're like, what are you talking about? And a giant worm monster appears out of nowhere, and they all fight it, hence revealing what a meat stick is. It's a giant worm, stick of meat, meat stick. This had been a mystery going on for quite literally years, and the players only now figure out what the meat sticks are made of. They're made of meat sticks, and I thought that was quite funny. The paladin player, as of note, did a shoot ton of damage and destroyed it with a big smite, and I think that's the moment where he was really, really into things in the D&D level. It was fantastic fun. Now, moving along, the original reception for the wedding was taking place outdoors, but the weather looked like it might be taking a turn for the worst. And the players could convince the local druids to change the weather, if only for the night. They will argue that the plants need water and won't want to intervene. They will not accept monetary bribery. They can be convinced to grow food for the wedding, however. I don't think they went with that last option. If I remember correctly, I don't remember the specifics of what happened during the game. They convinced the druids to make a pocket of sunshine. So rain still happened, they just have a pocket around the actual reception to make it more romantic. And the druids, I can't remember what they said to them, but they managed to make it work and convince the druids to at least do that. Now, the biggest thing was the father, the priest, refuses to perform the rites and is acting suspiciously when they go find him. Turns out he's a doppelganger, and the real one is stuffed into the wardrobe. After being rescued, the father still refuses, stating that they're not in the right state of mind after the kidnapping. Can be convinced with the right persuasion checks to at least do it if he has a protective charm. Replacements for the father can include one of the druids from the druid circle who multiclasses as a cleric, or the paladin player, the cleric player, which wasn't actually a player, was picked, or the warlock player, because they can give infernal rites to the wedding. I think the warlock in the end ended up doing the rites. I don't quite remember, to be honest. Now, here's one of the funny things. The rogue player, in their secret notes, and everybody got secret notes that they remembered over time, that they forgot because of the hangover. The rogue, his secrets included being in on the kidnapping of the original father. So he knows the doppelganger is a doppelganger, and he knows about the secret tunnel beneath the church's altar leading to the bank vaults, which would let them find the other ring. He also remembers stashing away a huge bag of 5,000 gold coins, which, if I remember correctly, they used a good sum of it for emergency food for the reception, the meat sticks, because, catering to a wedding on such short notice is near nigh impossible and very expensive unless you go with fast food. Which, now that I think about it, the meat sticks kind of were. They're street food. Meat on a stick. Or meat sticks on a stick. Speaking of other character secrets and things only they know, and I wouldn't call this a secret specifically, the Dwarf Paladin, I put in the notes, can do devotion-based marriage rites, is familiar with the Father of Church, and can sense something is off about him at advantage, because once again, he is familiar with the Father, is also familiar with the church itself, and can also sense something is off about it overall. The human warlock can do the infernal rites to bless a marriage. He's also apparently the one who brewed the poison that knocked out the original father that the rogue used, so I was very pleased when the players decided to play the warlock and the rogue and be the two who got up to all the shenanigans and trouble. And here's the thing, he's also the one who spiked all the drinks during the Bucks party last night, and why everybody's waking up with a huge hangover and can't remember anything. Now, pinned in the comments, I will have some of the notes and documents I used. I can't find the physical character sheets anymore. I'm pretty sure I just went on a website, had it generate a bunch of 5th or 8th level characters or something like that, and changed up their spells and equipment as necessary to make them as interesting as possible for this little one shot. I will tell you all that the actual game ended quite well with a good ending. Everything was solved. There was food. There was someone officiating the wedding. There was a band, people playing music, and of course, like I said, there was sunshine. And here's the thing. I ended up with the princess the groom was marrying, telling him, I heard rumors about you running all over town trying to fix everything that had gone wrong, and that in the end, I don't really care about all that extra stuff. I do appreciate it, but I just want to let you know that the two most important things for this weddings isn't about the rings. It's not about the entertainment or the food. It's you and me. So as long as you were here, I would have been happy. And then they got married and lived happily ever after. It was just sort of my roundabout way of telling my friend, the groom, dude, relax. Everything's going to go amazing. As long as you and your bride are there, it'll be perfect. It'll be fine. Because he had been very anxious about the whole thing. And I mean, rightfully so, I suppose. It's a wedding, it's a big thing. I just wanted him to calm down, just have a nice night of D&D, all that stuff. And during the game, he was actually pretty passionate, bit full on. Like, there was a point in the game where I just made a comment about, oh, okay, we can just leave this without doing it. It's not too important. I think it was one of the druids saying something about the food. And the groom just went, no, we are fixing this. He was a lot more passionate and loud about it than I thought he would be. It just kind of caught me off guard, and I was just thinking, oh god, he really wants the wedding to go well. And, I mean, it's obvious in hindsight, I'm an idiot, and I'm glad everything went well with the actual wedding. It was beautiful, like the real wedding, not the D&D wedding. The D&D wedding went well as well, but I'm talking about the real wedding. The real wedding, fantastic, beautiful. And that's my little rant. Just in case I forget to tell you all, there are my notes in the comments below. It'll be pinned. If you want to run your own Bucks Party D&D game, please feel free to use my notes as much as you want to, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.